Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? My name is Amanda Waldhart, and you are here with Amanda's Inspiration Station. And I have three cards that I want to share with you tonight. All three cards feature two stamp sets, but I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right place over here for a moment before we get started for our Make It Monday. So let's just double check here. Looks like I'm in the right spot. All right. Well, if you hop on in, I would love for you to say hi. Give me just a second to update this. There we go. All right. So tonight we're going to do some fun stuff. We are going to take the amazing silhouette stamp set, which I will be very honest with you. I'm going to be so honest. I did not think the stamp set was so amazing when I first got it. I looked at it and I was like, what am I going to do with it? And it took me a little while to figure it out. But when I did, I really like how my cards turned out. So this is a bundle, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. And the other stamp set that we're going to use is the Inspired Thoughts. These are for the sayings on the card because we're going to make these as sympathy cards. So I'm going to bring you down. All right. So I'm going to bring you guys down here. And it's just 6 o'clock now. So I'm just starting. So I want to bring, these are the cards that we are going to be making today. So we have three of them. We're kind of doing a lot of different things here. We're kind of going and doing like more of an ombre color palette. We're also going to do some heat emboss with embossing powder and our heat tool. And then we're also going to be using our blending brushes. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. Super easy. I'll be honest, I was very shocked when I asked my hostess club this last month when we did cards with these, how many love to use these. And every single one of them said, we haven't used them yet. And I was shocked. I mean, they're so much fun. They're not hard. So then I thought, well, maybe it's because everybody's scared a little bit to do them, use them. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So we're going to make three sympathy cards. All three of them have different color combinations. So we'll get to the color combinations in just a moment because I do want to share with you. So this is on page 40 in the mini catalog, and this is the stamp set, but it is a bundle. And the bundle comes with words, and they're like double words. So like there's a background, so there's thanks, and then you would die cut both of them out, but like in different color, and then you would put them on top of each other. So it's like it's like a word and then a shadow background. I absolutely love it. So there's thanks, you are amazing, and I love it's a great set. It's a great set. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hop to it. So I'm going to start with the butterfly card first. Actually, before I start, though, I want to tell you the color combinations. So for the butterfly combination, we are going to be using Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Bermuda Bay. For the next one here, which this one is my favorite, which is weird because I love blues and greens, but this is probably one of my new favorite color combinations. I absolutely love this color combination. So it is Petal Pink, Cinnamon Cider, and Cajun Craze. And I'm just in love with these three colors. All right. And then the last color combination for the trees that we're going to be doing is Mint Macaron, Just Jade, and Soft Succulent. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the butterfly one first. I'm just going to set my cards aside here. So the other two things that we are going to be using today, besides lots of ink pads, we're going to use the Versamark ink pad with some heat emboss, some of our white embossing powder, our blending brushes, but we also are using one punch. The punch for the butterfly one and the tree one is actually the tailored punch. So we're going to be using that. And then for this piece right here, I wanted to make sure Everyone knew where this was coming from. This is a set called Seasonal Dies. It was in the last holiday catalog. It is being carried over. So it is current right now. You can go to amandasinspirationstation.com and you can click shop now and you can shop for it. But I love these dies. It does have a stamp set that goes with it, but the dies are just endless. You can use them for so many different things. So I highly recommend, if you love dies and you like different shapes, this is a great one to have. And it's the seasonal labels. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm starting with all three cards. I'm using the basic white thick, and they all measure at 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to fold mine in half here and use my bone folder, but you can score it at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to do that. And then we're doing white on white. So all of the white pieces are, and I actually did these ones a little bit smaller because I wanted the rim around it. So these are 3 3/4 by 5. But this is what we're going to do our stamping on. So we're going to get out our butterfly. And I'm going to get out all three of these colors. So again, I have the Pool Party. I have the Coastal Cabana. And I have the Bermuda Bay. And what we're going to do is we're going to do light to dark, starting from the top and working our way down. Or you could, I know a lot of times when I stamp, I generally do like to work from bottom to the top. But that's not how I did it with this one. So I'm just going to start at the top here with the Pool Party. Okay. And I'm going to clean that off. And then I'm going to do Coastal Cabana. We're just going to kind of, and if it overlaps, that's okay. That's totally fine. And I'm just going to clean it off again. And I do have a, like a wet wipe here to clean it off if I need to. I have my cleaning pad over to the side here, but sometimes when you get so much ink on it, it gets kind of yucky and you just need a wet wipe. All right, now we're going to do Bermuda Bay. All right, so I do have a little smudge there, I see, but that's okay. I can do one of two things. I could try to blend it out with the blending brush, but right now I'm going to use this little sand eraser that I have to see if I can just kind of lighten it up a little bit, because I don't want that to be obvious when I use my blending brushes. All right, so there we go. I'll just lighten it up like that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blending brush, and I'm not going to, I have a blending brush that I use for all my blues. Okay. And then I pick another blending brush that I use for all my greens. One I use for like my oranges, pinks, reds. You could get a blending brush for each color, but that might get pricey and it's totally not necessary. I even know demonstrators who use one brush for all of it, for every color, and that's fine too. How you clean them is, how I clean them is with a wet wipe. I just gently scrub them in a circle with a wet wipe when I'm done. Yes, it will stain them, but like right now, if I go like this, there's nothing on it. So when we're doing this ombre look, I have all three colors, but I'm only going to use one color when I do the blending brush, and I'm going to go with the lightest color. So I'm going to go with the Pool Party, and I'm just going to go in a circular motion here. And I do always want to practice before I do my first thing. I want to just go off to the side here and go in a circular motion and make sure it's not super dark. Here's the trick. When you're using the lighter colors, I find it's easier not to get that dark blob. The darker you go, you might find that you will end up having like a big spot. So if you're using a dark color, I always recommend having have one of your grid papers just off to the side where you can go in a circular motion just to kind of make sure that you're not putting a big blob on there. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over this in a circular motion. Now, because I'm using a light color, I'm not scared of it. And I'm just going in a circular motion. And I'm going to go over all 3 of them, all with the lighter color, all in circular motion. Okay. So there you have it. That's it. That's how easy that is. Super easy, not complicated. And you think it is, but the result of the card, I mean, the card is just beautiful. So we still have some more to do on the card though, because we're going to do some heat embossing. So we need to get out our Versamark, and I have my little tag here, and I'm using the saying that says, sending healing thoughts your way. So I'm going to really kind of goop this up, and I'm going to get out my, embossing powder here. And I'm really going to kind of, this should be really sticky. It's very clear, very sticky. And so I'm just going to stamp that. See, and you can't even see it because it's clear. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this white embossing powder, and don't be shy, just dump it on there. Now, couple tricks for this. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to flick. You really want to flick it off, because sometimes there'll be embossing powder that's in spots that you don't want it to be. And if you go to use your heat tool on it, then it will show up. A nice thing to have on hand is just like a little, this is just a little brush from one of my daughter's paint kits. She never used it because it was so little. And so I just take this little brush, and sometimes I will brush any extra off. Now it's hard to get in with stains, because if you brush any of this off, it's not gonna show up. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna hold this, since it's such a little little piece here. I have my tweezers here, and I have my heat tool, and I'm just going to heat emboss this until it turns white. And when it turns white, it'll be like a shiny white. And let's see here. Takes a couple minutes to heat up, I feel like. All right, and there we go. I'll shut that off. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and now it's time for us to put our card together. Now the only other piece that I'm using is this mesh metallic ribbon, or metallic mesh ribbon. So this is the ribbon, and what I did is I cut a small piece off like this, but then I didn't want it as wide as this, so I took my scissors and I just cut it off, and then I cut it into 2. So I just cut some like this, and then I just took it and I just cut it into 2. And that's how I did it, because sometimes I just don't want it that thick, and that's what I used. All right, we'll save those for later. So we're going to use a lot of dimensionals. Now, you don't have to put adhesive here if you don't want to, because I'm going to put enough dimensionals on the back of this that it'll stay. I'm going to use 3 dimensionals on the back of this, and I'm just going to place it over the top like that, just like that, and then that will stay. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back. I don't want to place this flat on the card. I just want to give it a little bit, a little extra height. And I am putting one in the middle because I don't want to saggy center. All right. And then we're just going to center this on our card, just like that. I have a cat that just jumped up. Let's see. He'll say hi. Hi. All right. Wants to know what I'm doing. Okay, so there is our first card. Great sympathy card. Fun techniques, not hard, but it's a very nice sympathy card. All right, so let's go for the second one. And this one is the one with the leaves. Again, we have our 5.5 by 8.5. and you can score it at 4 1/4. I would definitely use your bone folder though to varnish in the crease, especially because you're using the thick cardstock. And thick cardstock, you really want to varnish in that crease. All right, so let's go with my new favorite color combination. It is Petal Pink, Cinnamon Cider, and Cajun Craze. Ooh, I'm flipping stuff everywhere. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing. So, the same thing. We're going to start with the Petal Pink. Now, because the Petal Pink is very light, I want to make sure I'm stamping off to make sure that I'm not getting any extra. There we go. And then I'm going to wipe this off. Yeah, see how there's like yuck there? All right. And then I'm going to do the Cajun Craze. All right, so there's that. We're going to use the Petal Pink for our blending brush. So I'm going to get out my blending brush. I'm going to go in a circular motion again, and I'm just going to kind of, there we go. And I'm just going to go all over in a circular motion. I almost feel like I need to re-ink this. My ink pad feels like it's kind of getting low on its juices. All right, here we go. So there's that one. See how pretty that turns out? I just love the way this turns out. So again, now we need the Versamark and the white embossing powder. And we're going to do our seine. Okay. I'm going to dump the powder on there. I'm going to flip it over. And this is the one, though, that I will tell you, I feel like, see, now, of course, it doesn't do it this time. But what I was going to say is this is the seine that I feel like I kept getting extra powder on. Like right there, there's a little extra powder there. So I'm just going to brush that off. All right, so now I'm going to bring my heat tool again. I'll just heat that up. I don't know, I gotta tell you, usually on Mondays, I don't generally get like the Monday blues. Usually Mondays, I'm like ready to dive back into work. I'm ready to craft after a weekend with my family. But today, I just have been tired all day today. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I have the Monday blues today. All right. You guys ever get that? The Monday blues. All right. So let's go ahead and do some dimensionals here. I see there's a couple people watching me. I'd love for you to say hi so I know who you are. All right. So with this one, where did that card go? I wanted to share. Because I think I put this one a little bit lower. Nope, I didn't. I put it in the middle. All right, so we'll just put that in the middle. All right. And then I'm going to flip, and I'm also going to do my dimensionals on the back. Remember your center one. And then we'll just center it on the front of the card. My poor cat. He's like staring at me right now like, Mom, what are you doing? And who are you talking to? All right. There is our second sympathy card. All right. Last one. So this one is the trees. This one is a bigger image, so you will overlap with this one, and that's okay. So we're going to varnish in that score line there. And we're going to get the trees out here. So I have the three colors. I have the Mint Macron, the Just Jade, and the soft succulents. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start with our light. We're still going to do light to dark. And because this image is bigger, I like to flip the ink pad over and ink it that way. It's just easier for me. And I'm not going to stamp like this. I'm actually going to turn my paper like this. I know this sounds kind of weird, but for me, it just helps me. It's a little bit easier. And then I'm going to line it up on the side, and I'm going to ink it like that. Okay. And I'm going to clean that off. And then we'll move on to the Just Jade. So how many of you are watching the Olympics right now? Hi, Brandy. How are you? I haven't talked to you forever. Thanks for watching. So yeah, how many of you guys are watching the Olympics right now? I have my oldest daughter. She's 15. She loves them. She loves to watch the Olympics. So do I and my husband. Not like everything, but like, you know, we like the ice skating and the snowboarding and, you know, the skiing. But then my youngest daughter, who's almost 12 in a couple weeks here, she could care less. She has no desire. I'm like, Ellie, you want to come watch us? She's like, no. So, all right. So now we're going to ink up the last one, which is the soft succulents. And close that. And then, like I said, because this image is bigger, you are overlapping. So you're just overlapping it. And you're going to ink it up like that. And then we're keeping the lightest color, which is the mint background, because that's what we're going to use for our blending brush. So we're going to go in a circular motion. Now I'm going to test it over to the side here. Well, I'm so glad you caught me live. Ooh, dentist office, not fun. But hey, it makes the time go by faster if you can watch something on YouTube or on your phone. All right, so now I'm going to go in a circular motion, and I'm going to go over all three of the trees. So we're doing all three of them. I think this set is great to do an ombre look. The cards, just pick three colors and just go with it. Hi, Carla. How are ya? I've been meaning to message you back today, but I've been very lazy today. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of just, ugh. I did go to the post office and the bank though, so I guess I'm not that lazy. All right, so now that we have that done, we gotta heat emboss our last thing. And the one that we're having, the saying on this one is with heartfelt sympathy. And there we go. And I'm gonna pick that up. There we go. Powder that one. Flip it over. Thanks for watching me, guys. Yeah, lazy. Yeah, I've been lazy all day today. I don't know what my problem is. I've been tired. I've been lazy today. I'm just like, oh. My husband said, he works downstairs because he works from home. So he works in his office. And today he comes up, he goes, this was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I just want to put on my jammies and watch Star Wars and crawl on the couch. I'm like, yes, let's do it. But he had a couple calls he couldn't miss today. So there was that. He wouldn't have done it anyway unless he had a vacation day because he's a hard worker. He never takes days. Some days I just have no choice. I just can't. I got to do it. All right. So this one is getting all white and shiny. Yay. All right. So we are done with that. All right. So now we're going to place this over, and let's get out the original card, and we're going to do this one on the bottom. So we just need our 3 dimensionals for the back of this. I had a package of dimensionals that just really stuck to the paper. All right, I'm going to do one in the center. And I'm going to make it go across like this. We'll do it like that. And then I'll flip it over. And we'll do it like center. All right. Yeah. If you guys decide that you're going to make some of these cards, and even if you change the color combination, share it on my Facebook page. I would, underneath this post, I would love to see them. All right, so there you have it. There are 3 sympathy cards with ombre looks, heat embossing technique, and blending brush techniques. I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Again, if you do it, put it up there, put it under, or post it under there. I'd love to see yours. And yeah, I would love to see that. You guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go be lazy and I'm going to go watch some ice skating tonight is what I'm going to do. I was so lazy that I even made chili this morning, so I didn't have to make dinner tonight, so I could just throw it in the crock pot. So it's been in the crock pot all day because that's just where I've been at all day today. So you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and I will see you next week for Make It Monday. Thanks for joining me. Bye.